My name is Kyle. Some of you guys might know me as Kai. I am the owner of Atrium Creative Spaces. I offer a variety of services here: video production, graphic design, podcasting, recording studio, live rehearsal space. We even do a mobile recording studio. I'm excited for this next year. We finished the year off pretty strong. I've been doing a lot of videos, but today I wanted to get into some gear talk of video production. Going into 2025, what will I be using? What have I been using? There is certain cameras that you have to use to be on streaming platforms such as Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV, Amazon, all of that. And we have one of them right here. This is the Sony FX6, part of their cinema line. It is probably my favorite camera that I have. I like just the form function of the camera. The quality is amazing. Huge sensor size. One of my favorite things about it is the built-in ND filters. Talk about Cine EI, so you can stay in your base ISO of 800 or 12,800. That's where the camera's going to perform best and get the best picture quality. It has two XLR plugs on this side right here. So usually I'll have something like this, a Rode microphone. Highly suggest a V-mount battery. I do have, this small Sony battery that came with it. I don't use it very often. I love using the V-mount battery. It lasts forever. And then you just have that extra point of stability while you're using the camera, especially for filming, sports stuff. I think they just did an incredible job with this camera. Amazing camera. I'll be using this well into 2025. Right now I got a Sigma 70-200 on it, which is a very big lens. This lens is really good for sports, weddings. Highly suggest the Sigma 70-200. And that brings us to our next camera that we use if you are looking for basically an FX6 and just a smaller body. Part of their cinema line is the Sony FX3. Pretty close to the same quality, if not the same quality. Being in a smaller body like this, you don't get the built-in ND filters. But another thing on the FX6, there's no in-body image stabilizing. So also comes with a nice audio handle, or you can hook up XLRs. Built-in fan, which is really nice because some of the other mirrorless cameras have overheating issues. And yeah, it's basically just like a baby FX6. So I really want to start using this camera more in 2025. On the FX3 currently is a wide angle lens, and what's cool about this lens is it goes to a 1.8, so you get actually depth of field with this wide of a lens, which is super cool. I highly suggest the Viltrox 16mm 1.8. And the third camera, I'll probably do a separate clip so you can see the body in my hand. So this is the Sony A7 IV. It is part of Sony's Alpha series. It is a hybrid camera. It shoots both video and photos. Has a 7K sensor downsample to 4K. Beautiful image. I tend to use this on a lot of shoots, especially running gun shoots. It balances very well on my gimbal. Currently, I have the Sony 35mm G Master 1.4 on this camera. It's actually what I was just shooting with. Right now, I'm just using my phone just so I can show you guys this camera. It matches very well with my FX3 and my FX6, even though it's not part of the cinema line. But for 2025, I do hope to be using the FX3 a lot more than I have been using the A7 IV, but FX6 is my go-to camera. Let's talk about another camera, a drone. Everyone has a drone nowadays. I've been using drones for many years now. Even before drones came out, we used to tape GoPros onto RC helicopters, and this has been my favorite drone, the Mavic Air 2S. That 5.4K resolution, 1-inch sensor. You do have to use ND filters, which I've just gotten used to depending on what type of day. Is it cloudy? Is it sunny? Is it nighttime? This might be one thing I may upgrade in 2025, but I don't think I will get rid of this drone. If anything, I'll get one of the other drones, Mavic Air 3S, which I was interested in. It has two cameras on it, so you get two fields of view. I want to say the sensor size is the same, if not smaller, because they got to split it between two different cameras. All I know is the 5.4K resolution on this drone kills it. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I'm simply just showing you guys the gear that I use on a day-to-day basis. Let's talk about lenses. Should we just dive straight into anamorphics? Blazer Remus anamorphic set. These are anamorphic lenses, PL mount. So you will have to get an adapter for your Sony cameras. It's a T-stop, not a F-stop. which is a lot more accurate for doing cinema work, having a T-stop versus an f-stop. They are manual lenses. They are not autofocus lenses, so you will have to pull focus. It comes with a 45. This is the 65. Again, it's another T2. And this one right here is the 100 millimeter. Very similar in size and weight. Beautiful lenses, beautiful build. You get a nice case for the kit. The flares will be whatever color the light source is. I didn't want to be stuck with just blue flares, amber flares. I think that's pretty cool to have the flare adjust to whatever the light source is. So I went with the neutral silver flare, as they call it, for this set. In the FX6, it does have a built-in D-squeeze. I believe the FX3 does as well. Just on my monitor, if I'm using an external monitor or the monitor on the FX6, I'm able to D-squeeze to see what the footage is gonna actually look like before I bring it into post and D-squeeze the footage. This is the Nisi Athena 50 millimeter prime. It's a T1.9. This is another cinema lens. They have a cleaner look. There's not too much character, but when I saw these lenses and I needed a 50 millimeter in my arsenal, I had to have it. So one of the coolest features, actually, I believe that only comes on the E mount, not the PL mount version. You can put ND filters inserted. It doesn't go on the end here. You don't have to screw on anything. There's literally built-in filters right here that slide into the actual lens and lock in. I think that's like one of the coolest features on this lens. Right now I have a black Pro Mist 1/8 that I use. It kind of softens the image. One more lens. I shot a video with my fiance and my son. It's called You Are My Everything. It is one of my favorite videos. It's actually the first video I ever shot with the FX6, and I used an old vintage lens for that. This is the Helios 442. It is a vintage Soviet lens where you get this swirly bokeh. It is a beautiful, dreamy effect. The more blades that these old vintage lenses have, the more you're gonna get that effect in the background. Mine being 13, I believe, is the most, so it's like one of the rarest ones. Now you will need to get an adapter for Sony E-mount. This is another version of the Helios lens right here, cinema modded, meaning like there's a focus pulling ring that they added to it. This one I got from the owner of Iron Glass. And let's talk about audio. So for the FX6 and the FX3, using a mic like this, the newer lav mics, I really like using these just because, I mean, for a lot of things, I'm running gun, the lav mics are just perfect. It's cool. It comes with a case where it charges them. You can clip on someone, or like I said, I even kind of clip it to the camera just if I need extra audio. The good old Zoom recorders, the H1s. Been using these bad boys for a long time. I have a lot of them. Just plugging in a lav mic, definitely easier to hide one of these up your shirt rather than I hate seeing videos with people with the thing clipped on it. If you're just running gun, you got to go and you're trying to get that, so nice to just clip something on someone. But there's so many videos where just big clunky thing on someone. I can't stand that. So it's either boom mic if we're doing like an interview. We're either doing boom mic, or I'm having a nice discreet one of these little lapel mics into an H1 recorder. Those have never failed me. They always do me right. Put in a nice big memory card, a micro SD, lasts forever. If I'm doing a wedding, I'll even run those. I'll split it. I use a XLR splitter, or whoever's running sound, we just split it. We both get clean signals. I don't get any of his whatever EQing, or if he's got reverb. Don't want any of that. Just give me a nice clean signal, split the audio, that goes into one of my recorders. Boom, you got one source of audio right there. If we're doing like a film, we have a whole separate audio rig that we use for that. All right, one thing we haven't talked about is lighting, different forms of lighting. So if I'm outdoors, I will use a reflector sometimes. Unfolds almost like one of those, you know, car window things. It's got a very reflective side, and it's got a more softer, almost diffusing side. Really cool look to use if you're shooting against the sun. I will use that a lot for music videos. In-house here in our studio, we have a 3-piece softbox kit, RGB panel lights, flashes for photography. You know, we have an assortment of different cool lights here in our studio with the backdrops. or even if you're shooting in our live rehearsal space. You can also use just some nice diffusion over your lights to get a nice softer look in your lights. The little lights that you can bring with you for run and gun type stuff. You got an RGB wand light, and then, you know, different effects. Very handy to have in your bag. An even more handy light is just one of the little aperture lights. I always keep one of these on me. It's super quick to just charge it up, take it with you on the go, fits in your camera bag. It's got the magnets on the back, which is super cool. Magnet to something. It's, you know, threaded. You could put it on a light stand. So highly suggest having an aperture light in your bag. If not, if you can fit a wand light. I do have a separate bag just for all my lighting where I keep my panel lights, light stands, extension cables, and then, you know, of course I have a few apertures. I've used this for a long time. It is atmosphere aerosol in a can. Basically haze in a can, so you don't have to lug out a fog machine. You can just quickly hit your background with some of this, and it just kind of gives some texture to your shot. I've used this for a long time. It's like $20 or something a can. It's expensive. Goes by pretty quick. So I will be looking into getting, they have the Smoke Ninja portable mini haze machine. It's kind of just a quick run through of some of the lighting things I use, and, you know, small tools that you could pick up for your camera bag. So again, my name is Kyle. Some of you know me as Kai. I am the owner of Atrium Creative Spaces. We're located here in the greater Sacramento area. If you liked anything that you heard and you need any of our services, or even want to come check out the studio, you can give us a call at 916-287-0320. You can shoot us an email at info@atriumcs.com, or even go check out our website, www.atriumcs.com. Thank you guys for listening, checking us out. I appreciate all the recent support with Atrium Creative. Been growing like crazy thanks to you guys sharing all the videos and content, showing people that we got this new studio up and running with a variety of services. And we look forward to hearing about your project, your vision, what you had in mind, and how we can bring that to life.